Hey, you've been quiet all morning, Marcus said, leaning against my desk with his usual smirk. I'm fine, I muttered, forcing a smile. My fingers tapped nervously on the keyboard. Come on, Ethan, I can tell. Something's eating at you. I sighed. It's just Lauren. She's stressed again. Bills, I guess. Nothing I can't handle. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Nothing you can't handle? You've been pulling overtime 3 nights this week. You sure you're not biting off more than you can chew? I'll manage, I said firmly. I have to. You know I promised her I'd take care of everything. I can't let her worry. He shook his head, but didn't press further. Just don't burn yourself out, man. You've got a good thing with her. Don't ruin it for nothing. I won't, I said, though the pit in my stomach told me I was already halfway there. Later that night, I walked into our apartment and found Lauren sitting at the kitchen table, her face lit by the soft glow of a single lamp. Papers were scattered everywhere. You're home late again, she said without looking up. I had to finish a project, I replied, taking off my jacket. Everything okay here? She hesitated, tapping a pen against a sheet of paper. It's just bills. Some unexpected ones came up. I pulled out a chair and sat across from her. Hey, don't worry about it. I'll handle it. I promised, remember? She looked up, her eyes briefly softening, then flicked away. I know. I hate feeling like a burden. You're not a burden, I said quickly. Not ever. I'm married to you. Whatever comes, we face it together. That's what marriage is. I wish things were easier, she whispered, her voice breaking slightly. I'll make them easier, I said. I'll figure it out. Don't even think about stress. Go take a break or watch that show you like. She gave me a small smile, but I noticed the tension in her shoulders didn't ease. Something was off, but I told myself I was imagining things. Love has a way of blinding you. A few days later, Marcus and I grabbed lunch at our usual spot. He poked at his sandwich, watching me over the rim of his coffee cup. You're worrying about her too much, he said. I can see it. You're too tired to think straight. You really think you can handle all her problems? I have to, I replied, my voice firm, though my hand shook slightly. She's important. Everything else doesn't matter. Just promise me you'll look after yourself too, he said. I don't want to see you collapse before she even notices what's going on. I'll be fine, I said again, more to convince myself than him. That evening, I found Lauren scrolling through her phone in the living room. She looked up as I entered. Long day, she asked. The usual, I replied, sitting beside her. You look tired. Want me to make some tea? No, I'm fine, she said. But she didn't look fine. Her thumb paused over her screen, then moved quickly away. I caught a flash of something, an unread message or a secret conversation. My stomach twisted, but I pushed it down. Maybe I was overthinking. I'll handle everything, I said softly. No debt, no bills, no stress. You just be you. That's enough for me. She nodded slowly, eyes flicking to mine. I appreciate that. And in that moment, I believe we were fine. I didn't notice the cracks forming beneath the surface. I didn't see the truth hiding behind her polite smiles. I only knew one thing. I loved her, and I would protect her, no matter the cost. Ethan, are you sure about this? Marcus asked, rubbing his temples as we sat in the break room. I don't have a choice, I replied, shoving a granola bar into my mouth. Lauren's debts, they're worse than I thought. I can't just ignore them. Marcus shook his head. You're already working late nights, weekends. Now, 3 jobs? You're going to kill yourself before you even make a dent. I'll manage, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I can handle it. She needs me. I can't let her fall. Man, sometimes love doesn't mean dying for someone, he muttered. It means living too. You can't help her if you break yourself. I'll be fine, I said again, though my hands were trembling slightly. That night, I walked into the apartment exhausted. My shoulders ached, my eyes burned, but I put on a smile. Hey, Lauren said softly, looking up from a pile of bills. You're late again. Had to finish a delivery. I lied, tossing my bag on the couch. How's everything here? She shrugged. It's manageable. Thanks for doing all this. I sat beside her, rubbing my temples. Don't thank me. I promised. I'll take care of it all. You don't have to worry about a single thing. She smiled faintly. I don't know what I'd do without you. You won't have to find out, I said. I've got this. We'll be fine. The next morning, I was up before sunrise. Corporate emails first, then deliveries, then freelance projects online. I barely had time to breathe. During a quick lunch, Marcus caught me staring blankly at my sandwich. You look like death warmed over, he said. Seriously, Ethan, 3 jobs? You're asking for trouble. I'm not asking for trouble, I said. I'm making sure Lauren doesn't have to worry. That's all that matters. People don't realize what's important until it's too late, Marcus said, shaking his head. Don't lose yourself in the process. I won't, I muttered. I can't. I have to keep going. Back at the apartment, Lauren was in the kitchen again, scrolling through her phone. You've been pushing yourself too hard, she said softly. You don't have to do everything alone. I promised, I said. I made a promise, and I'll keep it. Don't stress about it. Just be yourself. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. I know. I wish I could help somehow. You help just by being here, I said. I can handle the numbers. I can handle the bills. You don't have to fight this fight. A week later, exhaustion hit me like a truck. I was delivering packages at midnight, muscles aching, eyes heavy. I cursed under my breath when a GPS error sent me the wrong way. Why did I agree to this? I muttered. My phone buzzed. Lauren had texted, "Thanks for everything." I know it's a lot. I stared at the screen, swallowing the lump in my throat. It's fine, I typed back. I can do it. Don't worry about me. Days blended into nights. My body was tired, but my mind refused to stop. I worked while others slept. I ate while others relaxed. I sacrificed every free moment. Sometimes, I'd catch Lauren watching me with a soft expression, then quickly looking away, distant again. What's wrong? I asked one night as we sat on the couch. Nothing, she said, voice tight. Just tired. I didn't push. I nodded, forcing a smile, and went back to checking my freelance emails. I was stretched thin, every muscle screaming, every thought racing. Yet I told myself this was normal. Love required sacrifice. Pain was temporary. I would survive. I had to survive. 7 years had passed, and I was running on fumes. Ethan, dinner? Lauren's voice floated from the kitchen, cheerful, like nothing had changed. I'm not hungry, I muttered, rubbing my eyes. My body ached, my mind felt frayed, but I forced myself to keep going. I need to finish these invoices. She sighed. You've been working nonstop again. Don't you ever rest? I rest when the bills are paid, I said, trying to sound casual. 7 years, Lauren. I promised I'd fix everything for you. Her eyes softened. I know. You're amazing. You do so much for me. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. It's fine. I can handle it. Later that night, I was lying on the couch, pretending to rest, when her phone rang. She stepped into the hallway, whispering into the receiver. Stop being so dramatic. I told you everything's fine, she laughed. I froze. That laugh. I didn't recognize it. My heart thumped against my ribs, a sudden, heavy panic sinking in. You're unbelievable. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry about him, she said. Wait, I muttered, moving closer to the doorway. My fingers trembled, but I held my breath. Nothing, Ethan. Just work stuff, she said, returning to the living room, her face carefully neutral. I stared at her, a cold pit opening in my stomach. Work stuff, I asked quietly, almost a whisper. You sounded happy. Different. She gave me a faint smile. It's nothing. Just a client call. Really? I nodded, but I couldn't shake it. 7 years of my life, every ounce of energy spent, was it all for nothing? Was this what I was paying for? My chest burned with anger and disbelief. The next morning, I woke to an official-looking envelope on the kitchen table. My hand shook as I opened it. Lauren had filed for divorce. I sank into the chair, staring at the papers. Why? I whispered, voice cracking. Why now? The last payment, the last one cleared yesterday. 7 years. 7 years of everything. And this? Lauren came up behind me. Ethan, we need to talk. I looked up at her, fury and heartbreak twisting in my chest. Talk? Talk about what? About how you lied. About how you wasted my life. She flinched slightly. I never wanted to hurt you. You never wanted to hurt me? I shouted, my voice breaking. Do you have any idea what I've done for you? 3 jobs at a time, sleepless nights, missing birthdays, missing friends, all for you. And this is how you repay me. I can't live like that anymore, she whispered, eyes avoiding mine. I need freedom. Freedom, I repeated bitterly. You mean freedom from the consequences of your own actions? Freedom while I bleed for you? Her silence was deafening. I felt rage and despair collide inside me, a storm I couldn't control. 7 years of trust, love, sacrifice gone in a moment. I sank back, feeling hollow. I thought love meant we faced everything together. I muttered, more to myself than to her. She didn't answer. She couldn't. I realized then that the woman I loved, the one I trusted with my entire life, had been someone else all along. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch, staring at the divorce papers, the reality settling like ice in my veins. 7 years gone. Every sacrifice, every tear, every sleepless night gone. And all I could hear in my head was her laugh from last night. That carefree, unfamiliar laugh. I closed my eyes, try not to scream, try not to fall apart. But I couldn't. My world had shattered in a single moment, and nothing I had done mattered anymore. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My body moved on autopilot while my mind replayed her laugh, the divorce papers, every sacrifice I'd made. Ethan, are you okay? Mom's voice trembled over the phone. I'm fine, I lied, swallowing hard. Just tired. Tired? You sound broken, honey. Your father would be furious if he saw you like this. I'm handling it, I muttered. I just need time. Time, she said sharply. Time won't fix this, Ethan. You need to face it. I hung up and stared at the ceiling. Face it? How could I face what wasn't even real? 7 years of my life gone. Ethan, are you home? My sister, Rachel, called as I trudged into the apartment. Yeah, I mumbled. Why aren't you answering your phone? Mom's worried sick. You can't just disappear, you know. I don't feel like talking, I said, dropping my bag. You're acting insane. You've been working yourself to death for someone who doesn't care. Don't let her break you completely. I didn't respond. Her words were right, but empty comfort didn't reach the hollow inside me. Later that evening, I found Lauren in the kitchen, calm as ever. Ethan, we need to finalize things, she said softly. Finalize? Like my life ending. I snapped, my voice shaking. Do you even realize what you've done? Every hour, every night, every dollar I spent gone. And you smile like it's nothing. I deserve this, she said quietly. I couldn't live like that anymore. I need freedom. Freedom? I repeated, anger and disbelief mixing. Do you know what freedom costs? Do you know what you just stole from me? I'm sorry, she said, tone almost bored. I didn't mean to hurt you, but I can't stay trapped. Trapped? I laughed bitterly. Trapped is what I felt for 7 years, thinking my love would be enough to save us both. She didn't flinch. She just looked away, indifferent. That's when I realized I wasn't dealing with guilt. I was dealing with a stranger. Hours later, I called Marcus. I can't handle this, I admitted, voice cracking. I feel empty. Every bit of me is broken. You've been strong for too long, he said gently. Let yourself fall apart. Then we rebuild. One step at a time. I don't even know where to start, I whispered. Start by surviving, Ethan. That's all for now. I'll be here. You're not alone. We spent the night on the phone. He didn't give advice I wasn't ready for. He just listened, a steady presence anchoring me. The next day, I barely moved. Rachel barged into my apartment again. You can't just sit there, Ethan. People notice when someone disappears. Mom's calling every hour. Friends are worried. You need to eat, shower, something. I can't, I said. I can't even look at her face. I can't even think about why I believed in her for 7 years. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid, she yelled. You loved her. That's not stupidity. That's human. I shook my head. Doesn't feel human right now. It feels like betrayal, loss, and pain, and it's all mine to carry. Marcus called again that evening. You're still alive, right? He said. I am, I muttered. Barely. Good. Then that's step 1. Step 2 is surviving this week without collapsing completely. Step 3, we start planning. You can't let this end here, Ethan. You deserve better. His words burned with truth. My mind, still raw, started to twist. Planning revenge? Justice? I wasn't ready yet. But I knew one thing. I couldn't stay broken forever. I sank onto the couch, staring at the empty room. The world felt heavier than ever. But for the first time in days, a spark flickered. I whispered to myself, this isn't the end. Not yet. I woke up that morning and stared at the ceiling for what felt like hours. The apartment was quiet, almost painfully so. I needed a change. Something, anything. Ethan, are you coming to work today? Marcus's voice rang through the phone. I'll be there, but I'm cutting down, I said. I quit the delivery job and freelance projects. I can't keep running like this. About time, he said with a hint of relief. You look like a zombie. You're actually making me worry. I'm trying to breathe, I muttered. Step one of surviving, I guess. At the office, Emily greeted me with a smile I didn't know I needed. Hey, you're back. I am, I said, forcing a small smile. Just taking it slower now. Good for you, she said. You shouldn't be doing everything at once. I know it's hard, but small steps matter. Small steps, I repeated, feeling the weight in my chest lighten just a fraction. Yeah, I need that. During lunch, I found out Lauren had already moved on. A coworker casually mentioned seeing her at a cafe with some guy, laughing like she didn't have a care in the world. I clenched my fists under the table. She's dating someone already? Apparently, my coworker said. I think she moved on fast. I nodded, forcing my face to stay neutral. Yeah, fast. My heart hammered, but I didn't want to act rash. I couldn't. I needed clarity, not chaos. That evening, I called Marcus. She's dating someone, I said quietly. I saw it. I can't. I don't know. I want to scream, but I can't move yet. You're allowed to be angry, he said firmly. But don't let it control you. Use it. You've got your life to reclaim. I'm trying, I muttered, trying to breathe again, trying to find some peace. Emily invited me for a coffee after work. You've been quiet, she said, stirring her cup. Are you okay? I'm surviving, I said. It's a start. Good, she said. You deserve that. You've been through a lot, Ethan. Just don't let it define you. I'm not sure how, I admitted. It feels like everything I've built, it's gone. But I need to try again. You will, she said gently. You're stronger than you think, and you don't have to do it alone. Her words hit me harder than I expected. I had spent years giving, sacrificing, and barely noticing myself. Now, someone was telling me I mattered too. I realized it was the first time in months I felt hope instead of despair. The next morning, I canceled another unnecessary meeting and sat down to meditate for 10 minutes. My body ached less than it used to. My mind, still scattered, felt slightly lighter. At lunch, Emily walked past my desk. Hey, don't forget to eat today, she said, smiling. I won't, I said, laughing softly. Thanks. Back at home, I looked at the empty apartment. The silence no longer suffocated me. Instead, it felt like a canvas, a place to rebuild. I started journaling, writing down anger, pain, frustration, anything to get out. Marcus called later. How's step one, he asked. Surviving, I said. Step two, rebuilding. Slowly. But I'm taking it seriously this time. Good, he said. Don't rush it. You're finally putting yourself first. And for the first time in years, I believed him. Small steps, one day at a time. Pain was still there, but it was becoming fuel instead of chains. I wasn't ready to forgive Lauren, and I wasn't ready to forget, but I was ready to take back my life. I whispered to myself before bed, I can do this. I will do this. Slowly, but I'll rise again. Ethan, you've been quiet all day, Emily said, sliding into the chair across from me. I'm thinking, I admitted, keeping my voice low, about Lauren. She tilted her head. Thinking how? Sad thoughts or something else? Something else, I muttered. I've been blindsided for 7 years. I gave everything, and she threw it away. Emily didn't respond immediately, just watched me. And now I decide, I said, my jaw tightening. I can't go back to being the person who trusted blindly. I need to reclaim my life, my dignity. Marcus called later that evening. You sound different, he said. Stronger. I'm planning, I said. Not revenge in a physical way, but truth. I want people to see her for who she really is. Not the charming Lauren she pretends to be. Careful, Ethan, he warned. That line between justice and obsession is thin. I know, I said. I'll stay careful. But I need action. She can't just walk away unscathed. I started quietly. I dug through public records, social media posts, old messages she left behind. I discovered payments she had manipulated, lies she told friends to make me seem controlling, even her secret meetings with a guy she called Eric. I clenched my fists. Eric, I muttered. So that's who you've been laughing with for months. The next day, I spoke with a few mutual friends, subtly asking questions about Lauren's behavior. Have you noticed anything off? I asked casually over lunch with a colleague. They hesitated. Well, she's always been careful about her image. But now that you mention it, she said some things that didn't add up, like blaming debts on you. I nodded slowly, careful not to reveal my knowledge. Interesting, I said softly. I just find it strange when people twist reality. Yeah, I guess, my colleague said uneasy. I left them with that thought. The seeds of doubt were planted. Slowly, they would see her true face without me confronting her directly. At home, I sat staring at my laptop, reviewing photos and messages between her and Eric. The sight made my chest tighten, but I forced calm. I wouldn't let anger make me reckless. Emily popped into the apartment unexpectedly. Still working late? She asked, peering at my screen. Yeah, I said. I'm trying to understand how everything really went wrong. I need clarity before I do anything. She nodded. Just don't lose yourself in this. You've grown stronger already. Don't let her take that from you again. I won't, I said. This isn't about her winning or losing. It's about truth. Karma. Marcus called again that night. Careful how far you go, he said. You don't want to become someone you hate. I know, I said. I'll stay clean. Just let the consequences happen naturally. Expose her lies without becoming her. That week, I started leaving anonymous notes to her acquaintances, hints about inconsistencies, reminders of favors she took credit for, subtle truths that would make them question her sincerity. She's not who she says she is, I whispered to myself. Let them see it. Let karma do its work. I felt a strange satisfaction as I observed small changes. Friends who once admired her began looking puzzled at her explanations. Colleagues started doubting her words. The first cracks were forming, and I realized I didn't need to attack. I only needed to reveal. By the end of the week, I sat back, tired but focused. My moral struggle lingered, but my path was clear. I could stay honorable, and justice could happen. Emily smiled as I finally stood. You look calmer, she said. I am, I said softly. Stronger, too. Slowly but surely. And for the first time since the divorce, I felt the power of control returning to me. I got a call from mutual acquaintance. Ethan, have you heard about Lauren? No. What now? I asked, my voice tight. She's having trouble with her creditors. Some debts she thought she'd hidden are coming back to haunt her. She's panicking. I paused, staring at the phone. A small part of me wanted to feel satisfaction, but I quickly pushed it down. I see, I said. Thanks for letting me know. Later that week, at work, a coworker whispered, Did you hear about Lauren's latest mess? People are talking. She mismanaged a client's project. Her new boyfriend is furious. I leaned back, trying not to react too visibly. Really? I said calmly. Yes. He's reconsidering the relationship. They're arguing constantly. It's messy, my colleague said. I nodded, keeping my face neutral. Sounds like consequences are catching up. Emily noticed my quiet smile later. You okay? She asked, tilting her head. I'm conflicted, I admitted. Part of me wants to laugh. Part of me still feels the hurt. 7 years of my life, and now watching this, it's strange. You're allowed to feel both, she said softly. It's normal. Just don't let it consume you. I nodded, letting her words settle. I'm trying. I've been rebuilding too. Slowly but steadily. My business, my health, even my emotions. Good, she said. That's all that matters. You. At lunch, Marcus called. So what's the verdict? Karma happening yet? I laughed lightly. It's happening naturally. She's dealing with debts, arguments, reputation issues. I don't have to touch it. It's unfolding on its own. Better that way, he said. You're smarter than her. Don't mess it up with pride. I know, I said. I'm focusing on myself, not revenge anymore. That's the real power. moving forward while letting life take care of the rest. That evening, I ran into a former client of Lauren's. "Ethan, I didn't know you were aware," they said. "I just hear things," I said. "But it's sad how people's true colors show eventually." They nodded. "Yes, it's unfortunate for some, but necessary, I guess." I walked away, feeling an odd mix of relief and lingering pain. Watching her falter without intervening was enough. It was justice without lowering myself to her level. Emily joined me for coffee later. "You seem lighter today," she said. "I am," I said. "It's strange. I thought seeing her struggle would make me happier, but it's more calm than anything. I'm learning to separate her chaos from my peace." "That's growth," she said, smiling. "You're learning boundaries, Ethan." "Finally." I nodded. "It feels good. I can breathe without guilt, without anger consuming me. I can finally focus on what matters." At home, I reviewed my finances. My savings had grown, my business was stable, and I even allowed myself a small vacation next month. I realized how far I'd come, how much I'd rebuilt after being broken. Marcus texted, "You've come a long way. Proud of you." I typed back, "Thanks. Couldn't have done it without your support." I looked at Emily's last message too. "Keep moving forward. You deserve happiness." I smiled. Slowly, the tension in my shoulders eased. The hurt was still there, a dull echo, but it didn't control me. Watching Lauren face consequences was enough to close a chapter. My focus was on living my life fully, not punishing her anymore. At night, I whispered to myself, "I'm free now, stronger. I can finally live without carrying her mistakes on my shoulders." And for the first time in years, I felt a real sense of balance. Karma had done its work. I was reclaiming my own life. I saw her sitting at the cafe, calm as ever, scrolling on her phone. My steps slowed, but I didn't hesitate. I had rehearsed this moment in my head for weeks. Not as a desperate man, but as someone reborn. "Lauren," I said, sliding into the seat across from her. She looked up, startled, then softened. "Ethan, I didn't expect to see you." "I expected nothing," I said, my voice steady. "But I needed to do this. Talk once and for all." "Okay," she said quietly, eyes flicking away. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" I asked. 7 years. 7 years of my life spent supporting you, sacrificing everything. And what did I get in return?" Her face tightened. "Ethan, I never wanted to hurt you. You didn't want to hurt me." I laughed low and bitter. "Do you even know what that feels like? To dedicate your entire life to someone and have them erase you as if you were nothing?" She started, then stopped. "You lied. You hid things from me. You manipulated everyone around you. You made me think I was saving you, when really, you were saving yourself." Her hand shook slightly. I didn't know how else to live. I couldn't face it all. I couldn't face it." I interrupted. "Do you know what I face for you? Nights without sleep, missing friends, missing family, working 3 jobs at a time. I faced reality so you could ignore yours. And you call that freedom?" She swallowed hard. I'm sorry, Ethan. I really am." "Sorry doesn't fix anything," I said coldly. "It doesn't bring back the years I lost. It doesn't erase the trust one gave you blindly. It doesn't erase the humiliation, the loneliness, or the pain I carried while you lived carefree." "I know," she whispered, almost to herself. "I wish I could undo it. I really do." I stared at her, feeling the anger that had built over years flicker, then fade into something sharper, clarity. "I don't need your apology. I don't want your pity. I don't want you. What I want is for you to understand that your choices have consequences. And I am no longer part of them." She bit her lip, tears welling, but I didn't soften. I realized then that revenge wasn't about hurting her. Revenge wasn't about watching her suffer. It was about proving to myself that I had survived, that I had grown stronger, that I was better than my pain. "Ethan, I regret everything," she said finally, voice breaking. "I know," I said, voice quiet but firm. "But regret changes nothing. It never has. You live with the choices you made. I've chosen to live with mine, without you dragging me down." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "Don't. I won't be part of your comfort. Not now, not ever." I took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift slightly from my chest. I loved you, Lauren. I gave you everything I had. But love isn't supposed to be a prison, and I'm not a prisoner anymore. I'm free. I'm stronger. I'm moving forward. Her tears fell silently, but I no longer felt the need to console her. The power had shifted. The storm inside me had settled. Ethan, I don't know what to say, she whispered. Say nothing, I said, standing. Just remember that you lost me, and you lost the chance to ever see the man I was become. Goodbye, Lauren. I walked away, each step lighter than the last. No bitterness, no desire for confrontation, only clarity. For the first time, I felt the life I had built after betrayal, the strength, the dignity, the calm. I had survived her, and in doing so, I had survived myself. Outside, the sun hit my face. I closed my eyes and whispered, I am free. I sat across from Emily at our favorite cafe, sipping coffee. You know, I said, I never thought I'd feel this calm again. She smiled softly. You come a long way, Ethan. I can see it. You're different. Different in a good way, I hope, I said, laughing lightly. I've spent so long surviving. Now I want to live. Not just exist. You're doing it, she said. Your small business is growing. You're reconnecting with friends, family, and you're taking care of yourself. I'm trying, I admitted. I'm still learning how to balance everything. 7 years of ignoring myself doesn't just disappear overnight. Remember, you don't have to do it alone, she said. You have people who care about you, Ethan. I nodded, thinking of Marcus. Yeah, Marcus has been a rock. And my sister, Rachel. Mom, too. They've been patient while I figured out how to breathe again. Good, Emily said. You deserve that support, and maybe more than anyone realizes. Later that week, I met with an old college friend, Jared. Ethan, I'm impressed, he said. Starting your own business after everything? Most people would still be stuck in anger or regret. I won't lie. It hasn't been easy, I said. But every mistake, every betrayal, it shaped me. I'm learning to use it instead of letting it destroy me. Sounds like growth, Jared said. I'm proud of you. I smiled, thinking back to the nights I worked 3 jobs, the bills, the exhaustion. Pain had been constant, but now it felt like fuel. I whispered to myself, I survived. I learned. I'm stronger. Emily texted later. Dinner tonight? I replied, of course. I could use a good laugh. Over dinner, she nudged me playfully. You've changed, Ethan. More open, more alive. It's nice to see. I've had to, I said. 7 years of sacrifice taught me what matters. Happiness isn't about saving someone else at the cost of yourself. It's about balance, purpose, and honesty. She nodded, and maybe letting people in again. Carefully. I'm trying, I said softly, glancing at her. It's hard to trust after betrayal, but people like you make it easier. We laughed together, and for the first time in years, the past 7 years didn't feel like chains. They were lessons, reminders of strength I never knew I had. The next day, I visited my parents. Mom looked at me and said, You look lighter, Ethan. Happier. I can see you've healed. I'm getting there, I said. It takes time, but I'm learning to live for myself now and appreciate the people around me. Not just survive, but thrive. Rachel joined us for lunch. I'm proud of you, she said, smiling. You've transformed. That pain didn't break you. It made you smarter, wiser. I laughed softly. I still remember lying awake at night, exhausted and heartbroken. Now, it feels like every tear was a lesson, every sleepless night a reminder of resilience. Emily called later that evening. Walk with me? She asked. Of course, I said. As we strolled through the quiet streets, I realized I hadn't felt this light in years. You know, I said, I used to think life was over after betrayal, that everything I did was wasted. Emily looked at me. And now I see it differently, I said. Every pain, every sacrifice, it shaped me. I'm not the same man who lost everything to trust. I'm stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace happiness on my own terms. She smiled, slipping her hand into mine. And maybe I'll be part of that happiness too. I squeezed her hand, smiling back. Maybe, for the first time in 7 years, I felt whole. The past had shaped me, but it didn't define me. I had rebuilt my life, piece by piece, stronger than ever. I held the envelope in my hand, the last debt payment receipt from 7 years of struggle. The paper felt heavier than any stack of bills I'd carried before. "Ethan, you're home early," Emily said, peering over my shoulder as I stood in the kitchen. "Yeah," I said, my voice calm. I wanted to finish something today." She tilted her head. "What's that?" I looked down at the receipt. "Closure," I said simply. "This piece of paper represents every sleepless night, every missed dinner, every ounce of energy I spent trying to fix what wasn't mine to fix." Emily's eyes softened. "And now," I said, "I burn it." I grabbed a lighter and held the paper above the flame. The edges curled and blackened. Watching it disappear, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. I whispered, 7 years gone, and I survived. Emily smiled, placing a hand on mine. "You're free." I nodded. "I am. Free from the past. Free from bitterness. Free from her." Later, I ran into Marcus at the cafe. "So, how's the man who conquered 7 years of hell?" he joked. "I feel alive," I said, taking a sip of coffee. "I've finally turned pain into strength. I'm not seeking revenge anymore. I just live." "That's what I like to hear," he said. "You finally understand that closure isn't about hurting her. It's about reclaiming yourself." "Exactly," I said. "She's facing her own consequences. Debts resurfaced, lies exposed, and I don't have to touch any of it. Life is doing that for me." "Perfect," Marcus said. "You're stronger than ever." "Proud of you, Ethan." I chuckled softly. "Thanks, man. It feels good to hear it out loud." That evening, I met Emily for a walk along the river. The city lights reflected on the water, calm and steady. "You seem peaceful," she said, glancing at me. "I am," I said. "I finally understand what I lost and what I gained. I lost trust, years, energy, but I gained resilience, wisdom, and clarity. I can smile now without bitterness." Emily smiled back. "You've come so far. I'm proud of you." I stopped walking, looking at the water. "Do you remember all those nights I worked 3 jobs, barely slept, barely ate?" "How could I forget?" she said. "I thought it would break me," I said softly. "But every struggle shaped me. Every pain, every tear, it prepared me for this moment. And now, I can truly start over." Emily stepped closer. "And you won't have to do it alone." "No," I said. "I won't. But this time it's on my terms. I choose who I let in, how I let life shape me, and what I'll accept." We walked in silence for a while. The past was behind me. Lauren, her lies, her betrayal, they no longer had power over my heart. At home, I placed the burnt receipt in the trash and stared at the empty space on my desk. Symbolic, yet freeing. I whispered to myself, "This is the end of that chapter." I sat back in my chair, taking a deep breath. The exhaustion of 7 years was gone, replaced by clarity and quiet strength. I realized closure wasn't about revenge. It was about freedom. Emily called my name softly. "Ready for dinner?" I smiled, genuine and unburdened. "Yes, and for life." That night, I looked out the window, city lights shimmering. I thought of every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every moment I questioned myself. And now, I felt satisfaction. Not revenge, not anger, but balance. I had survived, I had grown, and I had transformed my pain into strength. I whispered into the quiet room, "I am free, stronger, wiser. And this is my new dawn." For the first time in years, I slept with peace in my heart, ready for a future built on my terms, unshaken by the past and open to life.